How long has Willetton Transport been operating for?
I'd say 50 odd years, maybe 50 odd years.
For most of that half century, Bernie Willetton's family have been hauling materials out of Gippsland. When he was a boy, they weathered the oil crisis in the 70s.
It just meant that you just had to sort of dig in and keep going, I suppose, and that's what we're essentially got to do now.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
The targeting of energy infrastructure in the Middle East by the US and Israel and Iran. And the choking of the crucial shipping passage, the Strait of Hormuz, has sent the global oil price to alarming levels, which is reverberating through supply chains.
The stable, predictable world of ever-expanding free trade is gone.
In Australia, diesel has shot from $1.80 a litre the day before the war started to more than $3 a litre this week.
Diesel has increased 109% in the last month in terms of its price, and that is a very significant hit for all of our companies.
The price of the diesel, how much has it gone up for you?
Oh, it's about a bit over $1 a litre. Yeah, so it's substantial. This is going to be real hurtful. I don't know how they're going to sustain it, to be perfectly honest.
These supply constraints are putting pressure on small to medium operators like Willetton.
The insolvency rates of small and medium transport companies in Australia has increased from 150 to 175% over the last 3 years.
Is the government and are you preparing for less fuel to be in Australia beyond April?
Well, certainly the government is preparing for all contingencies. Certainly the government is preparing for that. But as we've been saying all the way along, we are well placed in terms of the resilience of our fuel supply system to withstand what's happening with the price spikes in the Middle East.
The federal government has lowered diesel standards, appointed a fuel task force and made changes to the Fair Work Act to allow contract chain orders to be renegotiated more quickly. And today announced a 3-month cut to the heavy vehicle road user charge and a halving of the fuel excise. The crisis has emboldened clean energy advocates to call for a faster move to electrify the country's heavy vehicles.
We really need a wartime scale mobilisation to build out this infrastructure and basically decouple ourselves from this risk.
The only thing that can insulate and protect our freight supply chain from that sort of foreign oil dependence is by deeply electrifying the freight sector.
This electric truck has travelled almost 500 kilometres on a single charge.
Our financial modelling showed that electric heavy trucks are capable of operating at a lower cost than diesel before this energy crisis began.
New Energy Transport is lodging a planning application to build Australia's largest electric trucking depot in Wilton, in southwest Sydney.
That site will have a 5 megawatt grid connection. It'll support 20 trucks initially, but we'll be able to scale up to 50 trucks. And the reason we've chosen that region is because we're tapping into one of the densest road freight corridors in the country.
The deeper the blue here on the map and the wider the lines, you can see the more freight that's flowing there.
Right now, less than 0.5% of the country's heavy vehicle fleet is electric, mainly as last-mile delivery couriers in cities where charging infrastructure is being built. Bruce Hardy from clean energy think tank Energy Futures Foundation says construction needs to start on a national charging network for prime movers.
Each square on this map represents a charging hub that a truck could pull into for a charge. Some of those are going to be a public charging station of the future, and some of those are going to be private public charging places where trucks are coming back to base, for example.
What does Australia's charging infrastructure look like right now?
For trucks and vans, almost none of these dots exist on the map today.
For really large heavy vehicles, electrification isn't there yet. Those big heavy haulage vehicles, because of the sheer weight, electrification really isn't technology that is viable right at the moment for long distances and long distance heavy haulage.
Minister King says the transition to electric must be led by both government and industry.
There's incentives for some transport industries to really change what they're doing as well. So there's a lot of work underway, but this is a transition that we are in, right in the middle of, and understandably, it's a hard one.
Another barrier has been the upfront cost of electric models compared to their diesel counterparts.
These trucks cost between $400,000 and $500,000, but they are much cheaper to operate.
How does a small to medium trucking business make that transition and afford that upfront cost?
Sure, so it's going to be incredibly challenging for the thousands of Australian truck drivers out there who, half of all truckies are owner-operators, and most of them are small businesses as well.
I think they're trying to breathe a bit of fresh air into it again. I don't think we have the infrastructure for that at the moment.
Bernie Willerton says with more than 70 trucks in his fleet, the numbers don't stack up.
If it was cost effective, we'd all have it. There's a reason why we haven't all got it. It's purely not there yet.
What would the cost be to upgrade for you?
Oh, generally speaking, look, it's twice the price of a vehicle.
From mid-April, what happens next?
Well, hopefully there's fuel on the way.